Hello, everybody. How are you? Well, it gives me my great pleasure to welcome all of you to sunny California. Not exactly right. To the 36th Annual Users Conference. The purpose of this meeting is exactly the same as it was 36 years ago, which was actually to get people together and build a network and have some relationships form, teach each other, create understanding, all of those interesting things, why actually you are here. And it's just a great pleasure to be with you, actually. From the deepest part of my heart, you touch me. It's just an amazing crowd. You are very special to me, but you're also special, I think, to the world and its evolution. You come from 130 different countries, just about every field of human activity, of disciplinary activity, of science that we have on the planet. And in the beginning, we used to get up and explain who we were one by one, but we can't do that anymore. So today, I'd like you to get up and meet one new person and start the week by telling them who you are and share a little bit about yourself and them. So please do that now. Yeah. Thanks very much. You guys are out of control. Stop. Thank you. That is exactly what I want to have happen at the breaks and the meetings all week, is you guys getting connected and then sharing real stuff, your real experiences. This is how we learn and how we grow as a community. We also like at the beginning of this meeting to share a little bit about your work. And you have sent me thousands of maps over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been going through them one by one, hunting for ones that, well, frankly, that I like. I want to share some of them. But I want to thank, first off, all of you for sending these because they're pretty amazing. I mean, I'm sort of overwhelmed by the magnitude of your efforts. Some of you are working in environmental science and monitoring and assessment, looking at things like noise, looking at things like sea level rise, its impact on the planet, changes in groundwater here. Perhaps we won't have a problem like that in California for long, I'm hoping, but it's amazing. Your work is in natural resources, precision agriculture at the large scale, all the way to looking at the whole nation and crop rotation, looking at the oceans, looking at marine planning, looking at agriculture and forecasting activities. Some of you are working in developing energy resources, our future energy resources like renewables and also traditional exploration of hydrocarbons and development of them and monitoring of them and well management. And then there's others that are working on the management of land records, the sort of foundation of the civil society, parcels. And some of you are just working on parcels, but these interesting examples show the use of that information in various sorts of analytics, like tax assessment, property appraisals, etc. Many of you are working on creating the future with better urban planning and urban design, creating new towns, and making cities more livable, frankly, by improving walkability and access to sidewalks and for disabled people. These examples show transportation work. The real-time snowplows is a cool example, seeing where it's happening, better management of it. And then my favorite in this space is optimization, like optimizing the routing of workers, saving gasoline and resources, and postal delivery. They're saving, like percentages, which is saving millions of dollars. And this is happening in lots of the transportation industries. And then there's the use of computational facilities to do modeling, forecasting, and the like. In the world of utilities and telecommunications, GIS has moved beyond simply asset management to also analytics. This beautiful map in the lower right is exceptional in the sense that it's taking LiDAR data and overlaying it with transmission lines to see if there's vegetation conflict. And then there's smart meters and smart grid and better management of resources. Your work it's becoming more, what do you call it, small scale or large scale? That's right, it's large scale. In other words, geography is going into buildings and campuses. Even my old alma mater here, Harvard, is doing better space planning. But I like particularly the map of the image of Thailand, where they're doing a geodesign project to put in a new transit station right in downtown Bangkok. Your work in the private sector, many of you here are from the private sector, is advancing and making things more efficient, driving efficiency, making better decisions. Things like, for example, real estate prospecting, or I like particularly the example in the upper right of Walgreens, who's now implemented GIS across their whole organization. And this map is showing influenza outbreak based on prescriptions that they're making. This is marvelous because they're changing the whole behavior of the way the corporation responds to human services. And the little map over on the right, bottom right, is by the Census Bureau. They've taken all of the Department of Commerce's data and they're making it available through an app that helps small businesses locate more successfully. Just amazing. GIS is being introduced, expanding in the whole world of human health. And we'll hear this afternoon from the person who led WHO's effort in Ebola. It's amazing work, and it continues on today. And others of you are working on things like tracking hospital readmissions, a key element of the current Obamacare implementation here in the United States. And others are looking at using advanced statistics and geographic data to predict child maltreatment. In the world of public safety and security, clearly your work is making the world a safer place. Optimization of fire stations, for example. In the beautiful map in the center, it's about looking at the migration from Africa to Southern Europe of migrants. And by tracking these, there's a huge effort to rescue these populations. And in the lower right, simply improving crime surveillance, making the world safer. In the world of natural disasters, and we have our hands full of them, we're seeing users model risk, typhoon risk, hurricane surges, pipeline ruptures, and also increasingly real-time monitoring. What's happening with the weather is integrating into GIS, and tracking what's happening with the floods a few months ago in Florida. And then in the science area, I learned a new term, hypocenters. They're sort of like epicenters, but they're underground, the 3D center. And then GIS is being used to provide better citizen alerting so that they're alerted before the big one comes. All of these are beautiful maps, the ones I've been showing, but I picked a few traditional cartographic examples for topography, aeronautical charts, nautical charts, massive production of this. And then the beautiful map by National Geographic in the lower left here of, again, California's drought. But my favorites here are the little map of cherry blossom schedules in Japan. It's like a wave. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's really beautiful. And then for some of you, beer hall accessibility in Munich might be the map. Okay. Well, story maps are trending, as they would say. There's hundreds of new story maps that are made every day, and they're telling stories about history, about events like train derailment. They're helping us do briefings and recreation opportunities. And there are literally millions and millions of these maps being viewed every day. It's telling your stories. And that'll be a theme, particularly of this afternoon's session, is how to tell stories with geography and mapping. You are opening up your systems with open data. There are now over 3,000 governments who have implemented open data geographic information sites, and that's another one of these trending activities. We're also seeing a trend of apps for crowdsourcing, citizen science, telling government what people want geographically, a new vocal dimension of geography. Portals are not simply open data. These are some of the tens of thousands of portals that have been opened to make web services and web maps available to society. And it's happening in every country, from Russia to Africa to big agencies like NOAA to little tiny towns and tribes. Well, all of these examples are, of course, now you know, they're my picks. But the other ones that didn't get picked are also really worthy of note. We're thinking about this year of organizing them in some kind of an exhibit that we'll put on the web later this year to show. Each year we also give a series of awards to our users. We call them the Special Achievements in GIS Awards, or SAG Awards. It's not exactly the movies, but it's kind of like it. This represents the domestic SAG Award winners. It's about 0.1% of our user base, and these are the ones that are international. So I'd like to take a moment and have all the SAG Awards winners actually stand up, and let's acknowledge them in the normal way. Great. Good. Perfect. I sort of like to give awards and acknowledgement, and of course, the people who get it feel good. But there's another purpose to this, which is showing and demonstrating and showing the light on best practices. And so those people who stood up, go over there and meet them, because they've done exceptional work all over the world in implementing this technology. It gives me great pleasure to give 2 awards this morning and 2 awards this afternoon to even more distinguished organizations. The first one is our Enterprise GIS Award, and we're giving it this year to Irish Water. We're doing this, well, maybe Paul Ahern, who is somewhere here in the audience, hopefully should come up here and get this award. Paul, are you here? Yes. I'm giving this award because Paul has...
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul is a person who, in 1 year, implemented a complete GIS for their entire organization, for the entire country, starting from scratch. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I should stand over here next to you, right, and give you the award.
Thank you.
I mean, this guy is a hero by any measure. You know perhaps better than anybody else what it means to start and realize a complete GIS in 1 year.
We sure do. Yeah, we went through a tremendous journey with Esri.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
He's not being paid to say this, no. Making me nervous. You want to say anything?
Yeah, I'd like to say a few words if I could.
You have 3 seconds.
I was about 30.
Okay, 30.
Thanks. So first of all, I'd like to thank Jack and Esri for this award. And I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf of everybody who was involved in setting up Irish Water. When we were asked by the government to establish Irish Water, we faced 3 challenges. We had very little time, we had no data, and we had very high customer expectations. So working with Esri Ireland and the Esri Water team, we overcame those challenges, and we deployed the ArcGIS for Water Utilities platform across the organisation in just 12 months, Jack. So in Irish Water, we use GIS to make better decisions within asset management, operations and maintenance, customer care, and mobile workforce management. And we look forward to working further with Esri as we meet new and emerging challenges and try to improve water services in Ireland. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very proud of you, Paul.
Thank you very
much. See you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Governor O'Malley is right here. He's Irish, so you guys should connect maybe later. The second award this year is actually my personal award, and that is the President's Award. We're giving it to an organization with great distinction, the National Audubon Society. And I'd like to play a very short video first so that you can get an appreciation of this amazing organization.
I'm David Yarnold. I'm President and CEO of the National Audubon Society. Before the ArcGIS platform, our state conservation and bird experts, along with our national science experts, were all working off of disconnected databases. Being able to share data lets them collaborate and lets them come up with much more robust, larger conservation visions. It's completely transformed how we think about conservation and where we target our work.
GIS is really the connective tissue for this entire organization. So we have volunteers collaborating with staff in a new way, collaborating with partners in a new way, using our GIS as a big spatial platform.
It's really groundbreaking for us. Now that we're opening it up with story maps, ArcGIS Online, we can very quickly take hard data that our science team collects and we know is authoritative and turn that into a great communication product.
I'm really excited about what we've done as an organization, what GIS is doing for the conservation community, but also for the nonprofit community. The technology is so accessible. Everyone accepts and is excited that GIS is in their toolbox.
Having the ArcGIS platform be part of Audubon's DNA has helped us produce better science. It's helped us produce better plans. That in turn has helped us do more effective fundraising. It has increased our credibility with our partners. And most of all, it fulfills Audubon's core mission. It lets our local chapters be authentic, credible voices in their communities for birds and for people.
That's great, isn't it? Well, David, Doreen, you should come up. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to these two people, an executive and a GIS lead, a miracle woman, Doreen and David.
Thank you, Jack.
David, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
It's congratulations. Do you want to talk?
So thank you so much for recognizing Audubon's reinvention. Here's what we've learned, is that if you're going to put GIS at the heart of your organization, it's critical to have the data visualization experts, the visual communicators in the room from the earliest stages, not just at the end for implementation, because you're the people who are likely to see the patterns and the possibilities that the future holds. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Sure. So we should, are you going to talk, Doreen?
Of course.
Of course.
Thank you.
Doreen's going to talk as well. There you go.
It's an honor to accept this award in front of my colleagues and many of you that have become my close friends just from sitting next to you at this conference for years. And one thing I've learned is that we talk about how GIS works to break down silos in our own organizations, but when we come together, we go to our special interest groups, we stay at our booths in the showcase. So I encourage all of you in the private industry, in the government space, please come over to the nonprofit showcase and let's talk about what we're doing. And I promise I will be over in your space too, asking you all kinds of questions.
That's great, I'm sure. Thank you so much, David. It's a great honor to give this to you, Doreen. Thank you. See you, Doreen. Yeah. In my personal experience, this is one of the great organizations that really express, well, Richard Saul-Werman was with me when we were back there in New York. You get a sense of it, right, Richard? This is an amazing organization, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that you are doing.